everyone. Today we are going to learn about vectors. This is the most important chapter as per the syllabus and as per the content and concepts related to the engineering and also diploma. In future, in higher education also, the vectors plays a vital role and very important role in a subject to understand the concepts and representation of a subject. Here we have to learn about the what are the scalars, what are the vectors, and what is the difference between scalars and vectors, and how the vectors are represented, what are the laws of the vectors, right? He We know that in earlier classes we studied the physical quantities. The physical quantities are derived and base physical quantities. Sometimes we have taken plus, we have taken minus to represent the dimensions of physical quantities. So, based on the some characteristics, we can classify the physical quantities. Here we have scalars and vectors. So first we need to understand what is a vector, what is a scalar, and what is the difference between these two. In physics, we can classify the quantities as scalars and vectors, right? The difference is that direction associated with the physical quantity. We know the physical quantity. What is physical quantity? Physical quantity is a physical quantity is measured directly or indirectly. So while measuring the physical quantity, we have a number and a unit. For example, 2 kilo mangoes. Here mangoes are the physical quantity. 2 kilo mangoes. Here 2 is the number, kg is the unit. So here mass is a physical quantity. Someone says, sir, due to fever, I am unable to attend the class. So how much fever he has? So he will say that, sir, 100 or 101 Fahrenheit or something. The Fahrenheit is a unit, 101 or 100 is a number. So here we have only the magnitude, right? You can understand easily 2 kgs mango, 3 kgs mango, 5 kgs sugar, 10 kg, 25 kg rice, like that. Here no difficulty to understand this. So here only we have physically magnitude only. Then this type of physical quantities, a physical quantity needs only magnitude, is called as a scalar. A scalar quantity is a quantity with magnitude but no direction. A quantity with magnitude only, but it is not related to the direction. Scalars are specified by a single number with a proper unit. Single number and with a proper unit. These two are enough to represent a scalar. Here example is temperature, body temperature. Who is suffering from fever is 100 Fahrenheit. So 100 is a number, Fahrenheit is a unit. It is enough to describe a scalar quantity. 1 meter long. So if you measure from left to right or right to left, it is 1 meter only. It will not change. So here you need not any direction from, you have to measure from left to right or right to left. In a case of temperature also, 101 Fahrenheit means from head to leg, leg to head, or right to right, bottom, front to back. No need. Only it requires a number and a unit only. So examples for the scalar quantities are length, mass, time, speed, area, volume, temperature, work, power, energy, density, frequency, electric current. All these comes under the scalar quantities. Here some of the quantities required not enough, only it has a magnitude. So when I ask a student to come to their home, or you are the first semester students, you came from various places to this college, when you come to this area, maybe some of the students knows the college, they come directly. Some of the students don't know the college where it is, then they ask for the college. From bus stand to college, you asked someone where is the polytechnic, then he replied, go 500 meter. Right? You are moving 500 meter. Will you reach the college? Absolutely no. Because 500 meters from the bus stand, in which direction you have to go? You have to go towards north, towards east, towards west, towards south, or east west, or in any other direction. So it is very difficult to reach the college from the bus stand. Here 500 meter, 500 is a number, meter is a unit. This is the magnitude of a distance between college and bus stand. But you need a particular direction. Go straight or towards north and then take left, then you will get your destination. So you need a specific direction to represent some physical quantities. That type of physical quantities are known as vectors. A vector is a physical quantity which has both magnitude and direction. To specify this vector, we need a magnitude as well as direction. And vectors obeys the triangle of addition, or equivalently the parallelogram law of vectors. If a physical quantity is having direction and magnitude but it does not obey the vector laws of addition, then it is not considered as a vector, it is considered as a scalar. For example, electric current. Electric current has some magnitude. It flows from one direction to another direction, one place to another place in a particular direction. So it has both magnitude and direction, but it does not obey the vector laws of addition. That's why electric current is called as a scalar. Even though it is having magnitude direction, it is not considered as a vector. Vector specified by its magnitude by a number and its direction. Examples for the vectors are displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, movement, field strength, torque, etc. comes under the vectors. Here basic difference between the scalars and vectors are scalars represented by only magnitude and vectors represented by the magnitude as well as direction. This vectors obeys some addition laws. Scalar can be added directly as numerical number. For example, 2 kgs of rice plus 5 kgs of rice. You can directly add 2 plus 5 equal to 7. That is a scalar addition. But in addition to the vectors, you need follow some vector laws. 2 or more vectors can be added together by obtaining resultant vector. Here, if you have more than 2 or 3 vectors, then you can add the vectors by getting the resultant vectors. Here, vector is represented or shown as an arrow. Here, head of an arrow shows the direction and the length of the arrow shows the magnitude of a vector. See, observe the second figure, this tail and head. The distance between tail and head gives the magnitude of the vector, and the head side arrow mark gives the direction in which direction the vector is moving. This is a representation of a vector. We can write a vector. For example, capital A is a vector. Then on the top of A we put a arrow. It represents vector A. And the magnitude can be represented by the modulus of the vectors. Modulus of vector gives the magnitude, and putting an arrow or cap on a number or alphabet which represents the vector is called as a vector. If the vectors are linear vectors, then directly you can add as a normal addition. Here we have different types of vectors based on the magnitude and directions of the vectors. Some of the vectors are having the same directions and same magnitudes. Some of the vectors are having same magnitude but opposite directions. Like this, we can classify the vectors in different types. So, listing the types of vectors: proper vector, unit vector, null vector, equal vector, negative vector, collinear vector, co-initial vector, coplanar vector, position vector. These are the some of the types of vectors we have in our syllabus. So, coming to the elaborately types of vectors, the proper vector, every vector has some magnitude and some it has certain direction. A vector whose magnitude is not equals to 0 means it has some magnitude, also some direction. It is called as a proper vector. If capital A is a vector, then its magnitude is not equals to 0, then A is said to be a proper vector. If the magnitude of a vector A is equals to 1, then the A vector is called as a unit vector. Unit vector is a vector whose magnitude is equals to unity or equals to 1 is called as a unit vector. Unit vector is represented by the vector by the magnitude of the vector. If some vectors having zero magnitude, means there is no magnitude, then that type of vectors are called as a null vectors, whose magnitude is equals to 0, then that vector is called as a null vector. Next, unit vector, equal vector. Equal, as usually in the name, equal means the vectors, both the vectors having equal magnitude and equal directions. Both the magnitude, both the vectors having the same magnitude and same direction, equal magnitude and same direction, then that type of vectors called as a equal vectors. Here equal vectors having same magnitude and same direction, and some of the vectors having the same magnitude but direction is different, then that type of vectors are called as a negative vector. If the magnitude is same but opposite in direction, then the two vectors are said to be negative to each other. A and B are vector A is having some magnitude and another vector with the same magnitude but opposite in direction, then second vector is said to be the negative to the first vector and first vector is said to be the negative to the second vector. So negative vectors are whose magnitude is same but opposite in direction. Co-initial vectors. Co-initial vectors means the vectors whose initial point is same. They start from a one point. Number, for example, from a pointer, the vectors moves in all the directions, like a circle, radius of circles, right? It moves in all the directions, then it is called as a co-initial vector. And some vectors are like vectors. Like vectors means irrespective of the magnitude, the direction should be same. So whether the magnitude is less or more, whatever the magnitude, but the direction is they are in the same direction, then they are called as a like vectors. Next vector is a coplanar vector. Irrespective of the magnitude and directions of the vectors lying on a same plane are called as a coplanar vectors. Last one and most important for the exam point of view and conceptually and problematic area, the position vector. Position vector represents the position of a particle. For example, consider a particle in this room is at certain place. So where it is, you have to find out. So you have to take a reference. For example, you will take the columns and bring a floor as a x-axis, and this is the y-axis, and top height is a z-axis. Then a person is sitting on a bench, that is the origin point of a x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. From origin point, he is in a certain distance. On xy plane, you can trace the x points and y and z. Then you can find out where the person is sitting. So before wondering where he is or everything, first initially we ask someone, where is the so and so person? Then the person says, sir, he is in a library, he is in a canteen, he is in a hostel. then directly you go to the canteen or library or hostel. Otherwise you have to search everywhere in the whole campus. The position vector gives the position of a particle or a body object from where the object is there from origin of a coordinating system. Here see the O is origin, x axis, y axis, z axis, and particle is at P. Then x coordinates, y coordinates, and z coordinates. Then you get the exact area of a what you are searching or object. See the second picture. Here F, force is in this direction. The force equals R. Position vector R is represented xi plus yj plus zk. X, y, z are the axes and I, j, k are the unit vectors along a x, y, z axes respectively. So R can be written as xi plus yj plus zk. The magnitude of R, magnitude of position vector R is represented by x square plus y square plus z square under root of x square plus y square plus z square is given by the magnitude of a position vector. Here a vector can be resolved into its components. A vector R is passing through the origin. It makes certain angle theta. That is the resultant vector. You are pulling a trolley. It moves along the horizontal surface. You are making certain angle with the horizontal surface and the pulling force. So due to the pulling force, the object, you are applying some external force, pulling force on the object, but the body is moving along the horizontal. Why the body is moving along the horizontal? Even though you are applying force with certain angle, because the component which is working along the horizontal pulls the object. Due to the pulling force, the body moving along the horizontal axis. So here this force can be resolved into its components, or a vector can be resolved into its components. One is cos theta, another one is sin theta. Cos theta along the horizontal, sin theta along a vertical. Along y-axis cos sin theta, along x-axis it is cos theta. This is the resolution of any vector. If a vector is acting with a certain angle, then you have to resolve it into its components. Due to the components along horizontal and along a vertical, the object moves here and there with respect to their axes. So next, coming to the addition of a vector, how we can add a vector. In scalars, simply we can add the numbers. As a mathematics, we can simply add the numbers, but in vectors it is somewhat different. You have to add, for example, take any two vectors. You have to add the vectors, first vector's head to the second vector's tail. So here observe the vectors A and B. AB is added, the resultant is the initial point of the first vector and final point of the second vector, a line which joins these 2 points gives the resultant. If you have more number of vectors, then you have to follow the same formula, same principle to add the vectors. First vector's head is joined with the second vector tail. Second vector head and first vector tail, the distance between these two, the minimum distance between these 2 points, first vector's initial point and second vector's final point, gives the resultant of these both the vectors. If you have more number of vectors, then you have to add to this resultant vector. For example, here see the Fx along x-axis, force is acting along x-axis and some force along y-axis, then resultant force will be in this direction Fr, shown in the Fr, which makes certain angle with the horizontal. As example, you are pulling the trolley with certain external force. The trolley is moving along the horizontal axis, so you are lifting the object and you are pulling the object, but your applied force is in the direction of certain angle from the horizontal. So Fx is a F cos theta, Fy is a F sin theta, then resultant force is under root of x components plus y components. So Fx square plus Fy square gives the resultant of a vector. Here, addition of vectors obeys all the laws. For example, commutative law, it obeys commutative law. A plus B equals to B plus A. If you add A to B or B to A, see the picture, A head is added to B's tail. So resultant between these two gives the resultant A plus B. Here green line shows the resultant between A and B. And if you take first B and then add A, then B plus A. So this addition of vector obeys the commutative law, and addition of vector obeys associative law, distributive law. Associative and A plus B plus C equals to B plus C plus A. You can add any number of vectors, more than 3, more than 2, it obeys. And distribution law is also obeyed by the addition of vectors. Here we learned about the negative vector. Negative vector means a vector which is same in magnitude but opposite in a direction. So addition of a negative vector to a vector is called as a subtraction of a vector. Here negative vector A and A minus or B are the two negative vectors having the same two vectors, right? So adding, observe this A, B and B. This B is in this from left to right direction, and another B is opposite direction. Add A and B, right? This gives the resultant. Addition of a negative vector, subtraction of vector A minus B is nothing but A plus of minus B. So we are adding a negative vector to a vector is called as a subtraction. Here subtraction obeys commutative, does not obey associative, and it obeys distributive. So here we can add the triangle. If you have two vectors, then you can add two vectors. The resultant gives the magnitude. Resultant is given by the diagonal or the displacement between these two vectors gives the resultant in the magnitude and direction. The addition laws is one of the famous law is a triangle law, another one is a polygon, another one is a parallelogram law. Coming to the triangle law of a vector, for example, if you have two vectors A and B are the two vectors, take any two vectors A and B, add the two vectors and assume that the vector A and B are the two adjacent sides of a triangle. Triangle has only three, that's why no need to represent as adjacent. A and B are the, assume that A and B are the two sides of a triangle. They are representing the magnitude and the direction of a vector. Then the third side of the triangle gives the resultant in magnitude and direction in order taken in a reverse direction. A and B are taken in the particular direction, and the third one gives the, or the third side gives the resultant of this A and B in a opposite direction. This is the definition. Definition: if the two vectors are represented in magnitude and direction by two sides of a triangle taken in order, then the third side of a triangle represents the resultant in magnitude and direction in a reverse order. For example, you have taken the A and B are the two vectors, they are making certain angle, that is theta. Then the first vector's initial point and joining line are the third side of a triangle gives the resultant of these two vectors. So R equals to A plus B. This is about a triangle law. So here we learn about concepts of vectors. What are the vectors? What are the scalars? How the scalars and vectors are divided into their category based on their magnitude and direction. And what is the importance of a vector? How the vectors are resolved into components, and what are the different types of vectors, and the addition laws of vectors, triangle law of vector. Examination point of view, every area from scalar, definition of scalar with examples, definition of vector with example, different types of vectors definition, addition of vectors, triangle law of vector are most important from this class. And next we have polygon law, parallelogram law. Examples for the parallelogram law: equation, we have to derive equation for the parallelogram law. That is the most important essay question from this chapter. And then production, addition and subtraction is over, so multiplication is there. The multiplication is two types. One is cross product, another one is a dot product. Dot product is called as a scalar product, and cross product is called as a vector product. These two are also most important areas in our chapter as an examination point of view or as a for concept understanding for learning. So this is the most important area for us as per the syllabus or as per the examination point of view or as per usefulness in the higher education, right? With this we stop here and we will discuss about parallelogram law, dot product, cross product extensively in a next class. Thank you all.